Hello and welcome to the map review of Left 4 Zerg. My name is Andreas Metz, and together with Alexander Grenus I created this awesome map. So this map is about 4 marine players who have to fight one overmind player, and the marines are each have 2 different weapons and 2 special abilities, and 3 abilities which each marine has the same. Well, and the Overmind has the ability to spawn units which pursue and eventually kill the Marines. And yeah, those are the goals. Marines have to search and kill the Overmind, and the Overmind has to kill the Marines. So just to show you some stuff, I created a whole team just for me. In the final version of the game, each player will control one hero. So our map concept was to create 2 different enemy armor types. Those are light and armored, and light units are very vulnerable to, for example, grenades or my laser pew pew from Mindy. And each of the Marines has, as already mentioned, 2 different weapons, and one of those weapons is usually very good against light units, and one is very good against heavy units. But they're also very special in some situations. For example, some of those are area attacks and some are single, and each of those weapons has its unique purpose. Yeah. So I'm just gonna show you, for example, the plasma gun, which is very good against armored units, and I'll just confront some Zerglings, which are light units. Yeah, not very effective. So now I'm gonna switch to my grenades, and yeah, that's more effective. Also, those grenades have area effect. Now, here are some armored units, infested Terrans, and now let's confront those with our grenades. Yeah, that wasn't very effective. So now I'm gonna switch to my plasma gun again. Yeah, one shooting them. So now I'm just gonna take Mindy with me, and Mindy has a laser pew pew, which is amazing against small units. Light units, sorry, and prismatic beam, which is awesome against armored units. So let's move onward. Here we've got 3 armored and 3 light units, which all are ranged. So let's face them. Yeah, I lost Mindy. Well, anyways, as I already mentioned, we also have some special abilities. For example, Chrono Rift. Yeah, now they're pretty slow. Nice stun, but I got a whole bunch of damage, so I'll just patch up. As you saw, I can only patch up 1 time, and after that I have to find a medipack, which are spawned randomly on the whole map. Well, let's move further. And as you just have seen, the map is the map has some doors, and as you might see, we've got plenty of rooms, and the Overmind can pick any of those rooms to set up his camp, and from there he can spawn units anywhere on the map. I'll show you the Overmind right away. And what you saw here is the timed life of our enemies, because once the Overmind spawns units, they're only there for about 4 minutes, and after that they just blow up, because otherwise the Overmind could stack unlimited units in his main room, and once the Marines would find this room, they would get raped. So we also have breaching charges for heavy doors. As you might see, those doors don't open up once I move close to them, the other one does. So I have to blow it up, and it takes 20 seconds for this charge to blow up, and in this time the Overmind can set up nasty traps. For example, he can create banelings which will run toward the Marines once the door is up. So the Marines always have to watch out. And yeah, they've also got the scan ability, which lets them see hidden enemies. So next I'm gonna show you the Overmind playstyle, and yeah, then I'm gonna show you some multiplayer bashing. As already promised, now it's time to show you the Overmind playstyle. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the Overmind has two spawn nests which automatically spawn units that cannot be controlled by the Overmind, but those units move automatically to the Marines. But those units cannot open doors, so the Overmind can put up nasty traps if he predicts correctly where the Marines are heading to. So first of all, my Overmind has to look for a nice room where he chooses to build up his camp, and I'll choose Operation Lead because, yeah, here's the Easter egg and they're stealing constantly the couch from this room. Don't know why they do this. Guess because Blizzard is crazy or something like that. Unfortunately, I didn't set the triggers correctly now because those are no players but just NPCs I set, and usually the Overmind would see the Marines. But anyways, I'll just spawn some broodlings, and those broodlings will chase them down. So as you might see, we have 3 big nests. Those are kind of special units that are spawned. I'll just spawn roaches. Those are the tanks of the game. They've got huge amounts of HP but only very few damage, so you've always got to combine them with something else. And each of those units has a unique purpose. And here we've got the small units. Those are mostly only the cannon fodder, and as you can see, they're pretty much getting their ass kicked. Only the roaches survive very long, but they don't do any or almost no damage because they do 3 damage, and the Marines have 2 tanks, Chuck and Charlie, which each has 2 armor, so only 1 damage per hit gets through. That's almost nothing. Well, I can also spawn traps. I'll just show this to you. This is a spine crawler trap, and once it is built completely, it gets cloaked, and the Marines can only detect it if Mindy uses her radar or any of the Marines use their detection ability. Yeah, and it's cloaked. This trap does huge amount of damage. It's if the Marines move close and don't realize it. So we found out in playtesting that it's very awesome if you put one of those behind some locked doors or something and the Marines don't realize it immediately. So now I'm gonna just spawn some more units, and I'll show you the Ultra, aka Uberlisk, which is designed to be a very slow moving monster, but he's got area effect damage, and he does huge amounts of damage. And those 2 special spawns, Zerg tool, yeah, very creative, I know, and the Ultralisk are each normally have a 5-minute cooldown, and they should be used to set up traps for the players. For example, if they are stuck in this room and monsters are constantly spawning from the top, I'll just spawn an Ultralisk down there. Unfortunately, he spawns with a spawning sickness, so he's stunned about 10 seconds, so you cannot spawn him immediately directly into the Marines. That'd be pretty unfair. and from the top constantly some units spawn, and now the Uberlisk moves in. As you can see, it moves very slow, so if the Marines are players and would like to kill it, they normally would have to kite it some kind of. And you see, once he gets close, he's bashing him really hard. And yeah, that's it. I didn't build in victory conditions in this build, but once it goes up live, of course there will be victory conditions. Next I'm gonna show you some multiplayer footage, and there you can get a little feel about how it feels to play the game. I'll play as the Overmind, and Alexander Grenus will play the Marines. Yeah,